Hello, my dear friends. Today is April 23rd, and you're on the Sanya in Florida channel. As always, here is a news summary from the Ukrainian front. Today, in fact, there is no news from the front lines. In previous days, there were detailed reports along the line of contact, shown on the map. Please rewatch those, everything is there. We thoroughly analyzed all the advances in detail. So today we'll just talk about the news. Today's video will focus on the news agenda. The news today is just wild. The Ukrainian TCC guys, the Punishers, have provided so much content. You could discuss all day what they're actually doing there in the Ukrainian Congo. So we'll talk about this in detail. But let's get started. So, yesterday a bill was registered in the Verkhovna Rada to introduce liability for Ukrainophobia. Can you imagine? But what exactly is Ukrainophobia? They actually didn't... Somehow they didn't specify exactly... So what exactly will get you criminal charges in Ukraine? For denying subjectivity? Tell me, what does that even mean? Do you deny Ukraine's subjectivity, huh? For showing contempt for the culture? Simply for disregarding the culture. That's it, here you go. A criminal charge. Undermining identity. Can anyone explain what any of this even means in principle? You could, stretch any owl over this globe, you get what I mean? And it's very small. Well, basically a lot of actions could fall under these definitions. Because the definitions are, well, very vague. What does that mean? It means that any criticism of Kyiv's policies, language, history, or even jokes could be considered a criminal offense. Welcome to the Ukrainian paradise. What else does it mean? Historically, similar laws about protecting the nation in any... Moreover, in an independent country, such laws become a tool for suppressing dissent, especially when the state itself decides what constitutes humiliation or contempt. Do you understand? You showed contempt for the Ukrainian language, you used a Russian word, here's a criminal charge for you. Excellent, excellent. I really like it, please don't stop. The main thing is not to stop at what has already been achieved. The Ukrainian Congo must be completed. Let's move on. Now let's talk about the TCC officers. Some really crazy stuff is coming in today. We definitely need to discuss it. Let's start with Volyn. Everything is just wonderful there. The TCC enforcers are trying to throw a man off a roof. Everything is just great. At first, the suggestion was simply to shoot at his legs. Grab the gun, now we're going to shoot at his legs. Hey, you mouthy bastard, help out. Run away, daughter. Yeah, damn it, you've really done it now. We're going to get lost here now. He says, grab the gun, now we're going to shoot at his legs. Great, great, but then the decision was just to throw the guy off the roof, just climb up here and simply push him off, you understand? This is, how do I put it, it's not even a person, you understand? For these people, Ukrainians are not even human, they're something, I don't even know, something undefined that you can just throw off a roof and it's fine. But something unexpected happened here. The TCC enforcer, the TCC guy, fell off the roof together with him right onto a third enforcer, or rather, the second one, who was down there trying to catch them both. Laughter. These people, there's just no brains here, as they say. Down below, basically, they caught the guy and he surely got injured, probably broke some bones. Yeah, nobody cares about him at all. With injuries and broken bones, the bastards dragged the man away into the van. So basically, this is the real characterization of Ukraine in this whole video, you see? This is exactly what they built Ukrainian independence for. Here's the goal, they achieved it, here it is. This is what they went to Maidan for. The most important thing is that they avoided the bloody Putin. Here's Putin, that's all there is to it. He would have brought such horror there, but now there's no Putin, so everything is fine there. It's alright, let's move on. Lviv, everything is great there too. A TCC vehicle simply runs over a woman who is trying to stop the enforcers who took her son away. Just imagine, I actually have quite a significant female audience. Imagine your son is being taken to the front. You understand that the front is hell. By the way, today I'll show real photos of Ukrainian soldiers who ended up in that hell, so you can see just how bad things are there. So the woman is just trying to stop that van. The enforcers. What do the enforcers do? Well, everything there is pretty much as expected. They just run her over. First they hit the woman. Basically, then this enforcer from the military recruitment office gets out and treats her like a sack of crap. He throws her aside and drives off. Great, great, just wonderful, right? But there is some positivity, guys. I can't just keep giving you one negative thing after another. There's a lot to talk about there. In fact, there are so many of these videos, they come in every day. For example, in the Chernihiv region, 2 military recruitment office enforcers were stabbed to death. We're very concerned, very much so. Take a look in the Chernihiv region near the village of Strumok. A man stabbed 2 military recruitment office employees in the neck, according to the prosecutor's office. We're very worried about them, very anxious, very, very much so. You know, I get so anxious every time I read about it. This anxiety just comes over me. But that's not all. There's more to it, really. It's like a 3-part thriller. Then he damaged the military recruitment office's service vehicle and hit the military commissar with a wrench. Sorry guys, of course I'm supposed to condemn this and all, but it's just not right, is it? I mean, even worrying about the enforcers like this. 2 of them were stabbed, a 3rd got hit with a wrench, and he even smashed up their car. Basically, a beast, a real beast, not a man. You see, the enforcers just got unlucky with this particular victim. Not everyone will just quietly watch as they're dragged off somewhere straight to hell. Some people will fight back like this, yes, with wrenches, or with whatever else they have at hand. You know, like, what do you have there? A little dog. You could even throw a little dog at them. Well, that's just by the way. Next, The Walking Dead. Actually, let's talk about what's happening in Ukraine, what's going on in the army there. What's going on in the army? How's the supply situation? How are things going? Pokrovsky direction, we're going to talk about the 14th Brigade, which is deployed north of Mirnohrad. As I told you, if you look at the map between Mirnohrad and Rodinsky, there's an area where the Ukrainians once tried to counterattack. So a significant part of their forces got encircled there. They tried to counterattack and ended up surrounded themselves. They were cut off from supplies as a result. The troops there simply remain surrounded, you see. They have no water, no food, no ammunition, nothing. They're just sitting in their basements, so to speak, and that's it, stuck there for months. And there are a lot of drones flying overhead, so for the Russian units there's not much point in storming them either, because again there would be losses. You can just wait, you see, you can wait a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, and accordingly they'll surrender on their own. So what? Here are photos in front of you of these, if you can even call them that, fighters. Honestly, they remind me of photos from concentration camps. Well, they really look like skeletons. The fighters are fainting from hunger, drinking rainwater. There's no communication, no ammunition, no medicine, no evacuation, and no wounded are being taken out. So if you get wounded, that's it. You just rot there, you see. That's the situation in the Ukrainian army. Well, who would even want to go there? Just ask, please. I understand this woman is simply trying to save her son from this hell with her own body. And Zelensky's enforcers just run her over with a car? They built the Ukrainian state. That's what it amounts to. Excellent. Well, alright, there actually are some comments from the Ukrainian authorities. Now, the Ukrainian authorities are represented by Budanov. Budanov commented on this. He said that there are no more volunteers left in Ukraine. Only millions of draft dodgers remain. So now, basically, any Ukrainian citizen is a draft dodger in the eyes of the Ukrainian authorities. A draft dodger? Him too. It doesn't matter if they have certificates or not. I don't know whether they have epilepsy or, I don't know, alcoholism. None of that matters at all. They're all draft dodgers, you see? They're all cannon fodder that absolutely must be driven to the front. That's the goal, basically. The goal of the Ukrainian state, to send as much meat to the front as possible. That's what it was created for, as I understand it, you see? That's the only goal. The rest is just to steal as much as possible too, you see? Steal as much as possible and drive as much cannon fodder to the front as possible. Those are the two most crucial goals for the Ukrainian state in reality. This is the quintessence of Ukrainian statehood. Yeah, well, alright, let's move on. Now, about geopolitics. Actually, I already touched on this topic yesterday, but today everything happened exactly as I told you it would. Hungary, following Slovakia, has begun receiving Russian oil through Ukraine via the Druzhba pipeline, according to the MOL company. Well then, congratulations to all the partners. Everyone is making money. Ukraine profits from Russian oil. Russia profits from the oil it supplies to unfriendly countries in the European Union. Hungary, Slovakia. I told you they have been officially designated as unfriendly countries. Everything is just great. The veto on Ukrainian aid worth 90 billion has been lifted, but that still doesn't guarantee that Ukraine will receive this money because an oil crisis is beginning in the world. A crisis in oil product prices is happening because of the war in Iran. Accordingly, this is still very much in question. Right now, it's basically just a bill. This project needs to be pushed through the European Union, and only then will they see how much money they will actually send there. because Europe is facing very serious problems at the moment. First and foremost with energy resources, because the American army has put a big fat cross over the Persian Gulf. The American fleet is stationed there at the entrance and doesn't let anyone in or out. Russian energy resources. They cut themselves off from them, and the American ones are too expensive. Congratulations to our European partners. They sawed off the branch they were sitting on, and now they're going to fall. Even if they approve this bill for 90 billion for Ukraine, there's no guarantee that Ukraine will actually receive even a single euro from this project. Do you understand? The global financial crisis is about to begin, and that's it. Goodbye. The entire Ukrainian army will turn into skeletons like this, you see? What else? The veto on the 20th package of European Union sanctions has also been lifted. How many more packages do they need? I wonder how many there will be. 50? 100? You know, if you already need to introduce the 20th package, that means the first 19 didn't work. That means most likely the 20th won't work either. But the most interesting thing about this package is that they did not impose a ban on the transportation of Russian oil, nor on the services of European companies transporting Russian oil. In other words, Europe is preparing for the possibility that they will start buying Russian energy resources. That will be really interesting. On the one hand, over there in Russia, they talk about the Great Patriotic, the Third, the World War, or something else. With all this European obscurantism that's coming, you see, on true traditional values. So rise up, country, people, literally with the flag, just pure patriotism, you see. On the other hand, they supply oil to these very same Europeans because, well, they need to make money. And on the other hand, these same Europeans, yes, talk about how they're going to help now. To Ukraine, they'll push through 90 billion, but then a global financial crisis will immediately begin. And that's it. No one will get anything, you see. So this whole situation is now very, very much in question. I don't even want to discuss this sanctions package because, again, there's a ban on some cryptocurrencies, right? How are you going to ban cryptocurrency? You see, cryptocurrency doesn't have an owner at all, in principle. There's no owner of a wallet, really. It's just an address on the network. It's impossible to determine who owns it unless the owner themselves wants to reveal it. You understand? It's impossible. So how are they going to ban it? Of course, I understand that you could, for example, ban fish from swimming. That's about the same level, from the same area, so to speak. Ban birds from flying and fish from swimming, you see? That's what this so-called Package 20 is about. You could immediately start working on Package 21 because its effect will be the same as that of Package 20 and the previous 19 packages. Absolutely none. Europe has essentially cut itself off from trade with Russia and as a result has gotten itself into trouble. Into a very bad situation because now if there are no economic ties, then a real large-scale hot war with Russia becomes possible. Because economic ties are exactly what gives a country security guarantees. It's not like some Trump came out and said, yeah, it's fine, everything's okay, I will protect you. Yeah, right. And then 4 years later, some other guy like Biden comes along who doesn't even remember who his mother is. And that's it. And all those security guarantees just vanished into thin air. The only guarantee of security is trade, it's economic ties, it's capital, it's when your oligarchs have assets in another country. And that's the guarantee. The only one that this country won't start a war because there are levers of influence there, you see, primarily financial and political. And Europe is cutting off these levers for itself. Are they planning to go to war with Russia? That won't end well for them. It won't end well. 6,000 nuclear warheads. Yes, go ahead, go on, don't stop. The most important thing is what I keep repeating. That's all from me. Thank you for your attention. The last 24 hours have been intense. Thanks again, guys. Subscribe to the Telegram channel, subscribe to Max and to Rutube, please. Thank you. Goodbye.